Scanning for audio.
Welcome to a Tin Dog Podcast. Merry Christmas. I thought, like the Queen, I'd do a Christmas message to you all. This isn't a review, so if you're only here for the reviews, well, bear with me for one moment. It's not a Christmas story. There will be a very nice 5,000 word Doctor Who short trip very soon, but not today. Today, I would like to crave your indulgence. You see, you may have noticed there hasn't been a Tin Dog podcast for a few weeks. It's not to say I haven't recorded a few reviews. The Prisoner, and of course my constant barrage of the main range from Big Finish. Of course, in the next week there'll be brand new Doctor Who on TV, and then a whole season for us to enjoy. However, the reason that I've not done a Tin Dog podcast for a few weeks is twofold. First off, I've been very, very busy at work. The new job and trying to make sure that I pass the probation, which happens towards the end of January. And, well, more importantly, that I actually know the job inside out. That's taken a lot of my time. A lot of my mental capability, however, has been elsewhere. You see, we've had an election. And it's been preying on my mind something rotten. Rotten is a very good word for it. You see, we are now in the grip of a terrifying and terrible lie. The Conservatives, the Tories, are now in charge of the UK. Places like Blythe, which if you're outside the UK are meaningless to you, have voted for them. It's unheard of. It's wrong. And there's only one reason that this happened. There is only one reason that a man who doesn't even know how many children he's got is in charge of our country. It's because they're all racist. Bear with me. They believe that leaving the EU will be a good thing. They are, as far as I'm concerned, just wrong. They've voted into power someone who is a liar and an incompetent and has just broken so many electoral promises within hours of gaining control. Like a small child who'll just say anything to get off the hook, he's managed to convince millions of people through his friends in the press who all want to keep their money. Because that's what it comes down to. That's the only reason that Brexit is a good idea for them, is that they get to keep their cash and they don't get to have it scrutinised under new European laws, which come into play in January. That's why things had to be pushed through so quickly. But these are the people who are in charge. These are the people who have lied to everyone. And because I was on Twitter, I started believing that we could have a Labour government. Yes, the Labour Party isn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. The issues of anti-Semitism have been massively exploited by the right-wing press. But of course, as it's been said so many times, the Jews aren't the Jews anymore. The Jews of the 21st century are the Muslims. People who you can scapegoat. People who are people... Oh, it's awful. So, in order to clear my mental health, what I'd like you to do, oh great and probably attractive listener, is if you voted for Brexit, or if you voted Conservative in the last election, please stop listening to the Tin Dog podcast. Always being all political. Yeah, I am. And it's a very good reason. You see, this is a Doctor Who podcast, but this is also my outpouring. This is where I get to be myself and be with you. And my friends are not racist. My friends think things through. My friends are better than this. I don't want you as my friend if you did those things. So for my mental health, please delete me from your feed. I've really tried not to be political in this podcast, but of course, because my politics are basically that of can't we all just get along, try and save the planet, and be nice to each other, and actually look after each other, well, you know what? Isn't that the true politics of Doctor Who, the TV series? Fighting for the underdog, protecting each other. That is what Doctor Who for me is all about. And that's why, if you aren't that kind of a person, I just don't want you to listen to me anymore. Because we all live in our strange little social media bubbles. A place where I thought Boris Johnson didn't stand a chance. A man who would stand in front of the press shouting, "There are no press here," got into power. It's all just so terribly disappointing and upsetting. I don't want to do that anymore. Because Doctor Who, to me, is all about being better. And right now, we're not being better. So that was my Christmas message. And if this is the last Tin Dog podcast you ever listen to, thank you for sticking with me for the 900. But if you're still here next week, I'll be talking about Doctor Who on TV. And I'll be back to business as usual, hopefully. And I'll know that you and me may not agree on the reviews of the episodes, but we agree in real life to be nice to each other. And that's much more important. So until next time, Merry Christmas, and be seeing you. That was the Doctor Who Tin Dog podcast, available on iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, RSS, Vimeo, and across the internet. Doctor Who and its associated properties are all copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. Why not become a supporter by visiting patreon.com/tindog. Contact the show on tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.